All right. Good morning or good evening, wherever you're joining from. Thank you so much for joining this webinar today. I'm excited that you are interested in learning how to improve your business, but also how to increase efficiencies within your team and within your business. So very excited. So thank you. I'm Gwendo Ochiengwere, and I'll be the facilitator today. So a little bit about myself is I'm very passionate about helping businesses improve their efficiencies, whether it's through process or empowering employees. I've had the opportunity to work in diverse backgrounds, whether it's technology, process improve, IT, finance, and recently Andrew, who is also my business advisor, senior business advisor within Agile, and myself both got accredited with the Lean Six Sigma. I help businesses improve costs, but also ensure that their teams are really impactful in what they do. So some of the things that I offer with Agile is we have the Lean and Six Sigma trainings. So whether that's white belt, yellow, white belt is 1 day, yellow belt is 2 days, and green is 5 days. There's asterisks there to show that these are a bit depending on whether it's on-site or online. When on-site, there's opportunity to spread it over weeks so that there's more learning. And when I just concluded a 5-day training for some 17 people in Kenya. And what we are seeing is, well, it's good to have a packed program. There's information overload. So what we implemented last year, and also with one of our programs under the master classes, the team mastery through better and faster workflows, is we spread the training over a couple of weeks. So for Green Day, for instance, it will be 1 day a week over 5 days. This way, there's more opportunity to work with individuals or with teams to implement something, and the information is also some bit size. So we also offer master classes. So what I'm providing today is actually part of our master classes, although it's a shorter version. We also have a peak team performance habits. Frontline leadership is targeting leaders who are looking for better ways to lead and coach the employees, especially in a dynamic world where things are changing a lot. And the better and faster workflows is a simplified program to implement the lean principles across a team so that they can get some better results without necessarily having certifications. So that's also an option. What we also offer, and something I'm really passionate about, is online and remote coaching. And the reason for this is sometimes training is not enough. If you're a coach, you'd like to see more of your participants or trainees implement what they've learned. Sometimes, just as I mentioned before, with what's happened with our green belt training, is when there's too much information, everyone is trying to implement something, but then there is no concerted effort. So if you want to accelerate your success, then it's really important that you also have a lean facilitator to help improve the results, give you follow-up support, help the employees experiment so there's more empowerment, and also coordinate collaboration across the departments. One thing that's common with a lot of organizations is silos. So organizations tend to implement, if it's finance department or HR department or operations department, they're very siloed, yet for lean thinking, you need to think about the value stream. So that's really, really critical, that lean, something that lean coaching offers. So what's lean thinking in Brave? So one thing you need to think about, it's about people, it's about processes, but it's also about success. So we grow people who simplify processes so that to make success easy. What does this mean? It's really important that everyone within an organization, from the CEO, I usually say, to the one providing coffee or tea or cleaning your desk, they need to come to work not just to do their task, but to improve their work. Because if everyone simplifies these processes by eliminating inefficiencies, then it's easier for processes to produce great results. And today, the main focus is on the 8+1 Lean West. So previously, I don't know how many of you have had history with Lean. And initially, there were just 7. Then it was, I think, a couple of years back, the human element of Lean was missing. So unlocking employee potential became a core feature. And then one thing, after working across the East African region, in Asia, where I also implement some programs, and also in Europe, we realize it's really, really important to add the 9th one, which is ethics. So if I may ask, and feel free to unmute, raise your hand, or if you can identify the image in this photo. Can you see the image in the photo? Marianne? Okay. No? Okay. All right. How about Nick? Can you see it? All right. So, so what is actually here is it's a face of a cow. And the idea behind this is when we're implementing lean, we need to be able to understand are we able to spot it when we see it? And one of the things that, again, we need to look into is when we're looking at value, what is value? Value in your business, often it's like, this is value addition. This is not value addition, but what exactly do we mean by that? So value is doing the right thing at the right time and in the right way as defined by the customer. And often it means the customer is willing to pay for it. So anything that the customer is willing to pay for is value add. Some of it in the masterclass, you'll be able to differentiate between value added value added activities that are critical to improving the bottom line, but also empowering employees. But then there's non-value add, which is business required that we have to do because they're compliance. And then there's non-value add, which is waste, which is can be defined as anything other than the minimum amount of time or materials or capacity that is required to provide a good product or service to your customer on time and where there are no rewards. Waste, again, it's important that you often see that it hinders productivity in the workplace. So it's really, really important that we are able to identify waste or inefficiencies and either reduce or completely eliminate them. So one of the things I realize as I've worked with a lot of businesses is especially right now when there's a strong focus on technology, is a lot of businesses invest in technology or other trainings without focusing on eliminating inefficiencies in the workflows. So if we look at this as a picture of a cinema, which one are you more likely to attend? Is it the one to the left, which is study, or the one to the right? And sorry, Nick, are you saying you're not able to hear?
I'm okay. I'm okay.
All right. Awesome. Okay, great. Thank you. Customers are not willing to clean the cinema, and it's unheard of for cinema owners to actually expect customers to clean it up. Although in the UK, in one cinema hall, customer actually forced, but that was because they were completely unruly. But often, if you want to have more customers, then you want to make sure you have better seating arrangements. It's clean, it's enticing. That way, you're able to add in. Another good example is if you're sick, you're not going to take a reasonable person when they're sick are not going to add negative things into the system. They're not going to put in like alcohol when they're feeling sick, because that's just going to make them feel more exhausted and the drugs will not work properly. So you need to take the good drugs, you need to get the clean water so that you reduce the level of whether it's a virus or it's a bacteria in your system. That way you're able to feel better. So it's the same way with our businesses or organizations. Before we focus on adding more, whether it's technology, whether it's trainings, it's really, really important to understand what are some of the inefficiencies that are affecting us, and can we remove them before we put on we add in technology or more trainings. And this is not to say skill-based training is wrong. No, it is good, but beyond skill-based training and beyond the generic team building, let's go play and increase cohesion amongst us. Let's think about, can we improve teamwork in a more effective way by removing inefficiencies? I'll just stop there to see if you have any questions. Marianne, Nick. Or feel free to drop it. All right. Okay, awesome. Marianne? All right. So when we're looking at the 8 clean ways plus ethics, so a broader way to look at it is waste is any inefficiency that directly or negatively impacts your business's operations, profit, customers. And often we have like the 8, which it's defects, overproductions, weight, non-utilized talent, excess transportation, excess inventory, excess motion, extra processing, and ethics. And now we'll go a little bit into one by one. So defects. This term comes from manufacturing, but broken down, we can look at it as, especially in the service industry, is when you are anytime you want to correct something, you want to edit when customer returns some goods, and it wasn't done the right, it wasn't done right the first time, then you're having a defect. It means a mistake was done. And that means a poorly made design product or service, or a decision that results in either lost sales or brand is damaged, deliveries are delays, high cost of labor, or you have excess materials that are required to rework a coffee or a system. And the reasons why corrections are not good for a business for a long time, when it's routine tasks. I'll give an example is if I go to a coffee shop and I ask, I want cafe latte, or I want just normal tea, and they bring me something else the first time, and I have to return them back to get me what I asked for. The first drink they brought me is what I will pay for, but they have to make it twice, meaning the second one is actually a loss to the organization, to the business. So it's really, really important to look at that. And when we look at why is not doing routine tasks right the first time a problem, it's often creates a cycle of poor quality. So one is you've got the mistakes that can be avoided are done. Then there's extensive correction. Often there's a lot of blame and firefighting because no one wants to take responsibility for why that drink was not correctly ordered. It's always like, oh, you told me this, you tell the customer, or I told the cashier and the cashier did punch in the right thing, or the person who prepared it mixed it up. And then often is the target is met at the very last hour, 11th hour. And by then his team are so exhausted, no time to address why that happened. And then it just continues and continues and continues. With where there is a lot of errors, often it also leads to a lot of overproduction because people try to think ahead that, oh, we need to have some backup just in case things go wrong. And that leads to overproduction. So in the manufacturing sector, it's easier to see why someone might create a lot of buffer or some buffer. But it's also important that when we produce more things than are needed. So good examples, policy manuals, or someone is working at a faster rate than the next person in terms of approvals, then that can be problematic. I'm more passionate about overproduction in the service sector because that's harder to tell. But you can see a couple of examples here, when more application forms are filled that can be signed. Or my favorite, which is common, is you've got detailed long reports that literally no one reads. So some of my clients, this often happens when someone says, oh, I'm producing this, whether it's traffic lights, and with the traffic lights, no one really read it. So it's just a back and forth. Why am I producing this report? And with emails in this day and age is when we reply to everyone. And everyone feels they're responsible and no one really answers. So the issue with overproduction, whether it's in communication or production of buying more materials needed, then it leads to higher cost because you need storage, you've got labor that is used to manage materials. And then for most people where there's a production, there's also a lot of work, there's a lot of clutter, and there's less positive energy to move things around because things are just difficult to find. And that brings us to our third lean waste, which is waits. And one of my favorite things is, sometimes great things come to those who do not wait. And the reason for this is it's often common to expect some wait or work in progress. But when you have employees are waiting for approvals, instructions, or bosses are haven't provided information on time, then there's a lot of challenges with that. And with delays, you have to replan, you have to speed up work, you have to work around, and when you're working around, there's lots and lots of shortcuts. So this also leads to lower productivity, whether it's for employees or for machines, because people are waiting. And in some organizations, people literally wait. They start checking, doing some other things that are not really productive. And this also ties in well to the non-utilized talent, which is actually the 8th lean waste that was added. And this is critical because as managers or as team leaders, how important is it for you that your employees have high morale, but they're creative, or do you have command and control management style? One of the things I always, stories I often tell is I once worked with a water utility company, and the current technical director was a meter reader 20 years back. And he kept on telling the meter readers that, hey, you're doing this thing wrong. You're doing the meter reading wrong because this is, I know how to do it better. And the flip side to that was one of the meter readers was like, but sir, when you were a meter reader, there were no smartphones. So how is it possible that you can tell us that you know what we're doing? So it's really, really important that as leaders, we think about, okay, are we giving the opportunity for employees to be creative, for employees to innovate, or is there a high level of poor engagement, or they're quietly quitting? So it's really, really important that we think about how we're utilizing our talent. Excess transportation is something that happens in the digital world, because often this is where we tend to miss a lot of things, is sometimes the chain of command in the organization is just excess. So if the CEO wants data, but because they have to stick to the chain of command, they have to go to the HOD, the manager, the process champion, instead of just having a system where the process champion the information is in a dashboard, or the process champion can easily give in the information. The other thing that's common with a lot of businesses is also sending documents to different people to different locations for signing. Yet these days, there's a lot of online banking, and it's often interesting. And one of the case studies that just happened from our recent study involves that. And when we're back and forth reviewing of documents instead of a central point, when we're reviewing documents on email, someone sends it and then someone has to review it instead of just using a platform that helps you share the documents. Most of them, like most of the email systems these days, have access to shared portals, whether it's Google, whether it's Microsoft. There's always like you can share the document live and everybody can edit it live. In the manufacturing sector, it's easy to see when there's excess transportation. That's when, going to directions that don't really help in meeting the customer, someone using a longer route, or someone using targeting or visiting customers instead of locations. They actually go by name. So there's a lot of crisscrossing. Excess inventory, this also ties in. So as you can see, I hope you're starting to see that a lot of these waste, they tend to link one piece to another. So you can often when you have one inefficiency, there's often another one. And how do you spot excess inventory is you really have a lot of data, and then often you have to physically review your inventory. And what happens when there's excess inventory, there's often an issue of, are you going to create a long queue to serve your customers, or is it fast in, fast out? And with inventory, you need space. Whether it's online in your computer, which results to slow computer, physically, you want more workshop space. The thing with inventory is things may change and things will always change. So are you going to focus on just in case or just in time? Just in time is a terminology that we use in process improvement and continuous improvement to ensure that workflows, and when you're ordering, you maintain reasonable buffers to avoid excess waste. Yeah, motion excess. So I don't know if either of you have computers that are very, very, you can't really see anything. And excess motion could also be when you're searching for materials, but also and there's a lot of errors or accidents that are creating people to move around. So when you have unnecessary movement of people or materials or activities, then you have excess motion. And as you can see, if you're trying to get information on the laptop, is often when people put things on their desktop, they think, oh, this is awesome, I'll be able to get it like really prompt. But what often happens is they are not able to find it when they need it. And the flip side to also having so much on your desktop is you are you are slowing down your computer. So it's important to think about that. And then excess processing is when you provide bling when someone was just asking for an ordinary product. In the age of technology, is we want to automate all our processes without considering where paper or human engagement is more efficient and effective. Excess processing is when you have too many people signing something that maybe one or two would suffice, give enough control. So where are you having way too many reviews or requiring too many processes? And this has a direct, because it's time consuming, but it's also not using your employees' time more effectively, or even your managers when they have to sign something that someone junior would have signed. What's the value in that? So the last one is ethical violations. And with ethical violations, I think it's really, really something that we need to think about in our workplaces or even in our homes, because when we harm people or when we take resources, whether it's corruption or mismanagement, there's a lot of harm that we're doing. It also leads to people feeling they are not important, they are not valued, what they're doing is not valuable. So when there's a lot of arrogance or there's a lot of division between colleagues and groups, or when people are overcritical, then these are some of the things that we need to look at when it comes to ethical violations. And also, if you could just think about it, like across the world right now, the amount of effort that goes into preventing, detecting, or addressing ethical violations, whether it's corruption, whether in the workplace, whether it's, someone has had someone, or there is harassment that needs to be addressed. There's just so much resources that goes into it. And there's so much that goes into preventing it, which is good. But if we could reduce some of these, would it be better for everyone involved, including those putting in systems to reduce ethical violations? So in summary, these are the 9 type of waste. Some of these waste is unavoidable or required. So it's important to think about, okay, what is it that can be eliminated? But if it cannot be eliminated, what can be reduced? And also, what do you need? What needs to be done to eliminate or change it? The other another way to think about the 8 ways is to use the word downtime plus ethics, which makes it easier for someone to remember what the 8 lane ways are. And the essence of learning about the 8 lane ways is about being able to see. And once you're able to see, then please help the others in your organization to see. And this way you'll be able to help them to eliminate it. So based on this, one of the things that I like to do is at the end of a webinar or any training is I love if someone can implement what they've learned in your work. So I'll be happy to share this slide with you so that you could figure out where can you find these inefficiencies, how is it affecting your businesses, and what are some of the things you can do to eliminate. And just to give you an idea of in November, so 1.5 months ago, we had our white belt training, and we really recommend that after the training's done, within 2 weeks, to get your certificate, you need to have implemented something, something simple within a business to help you understand what you've just learned and apply it, and also get some returns on investment to our training. So one participant, who they produce carbon dioxide, they realized, wait, they don't have eroding levels with one client. And this is a relatively decent client in terms of productions. And they were losing approximately 3,500 US dollars per month. So the following, within 2 days, he was able to go back and say, okay, let's have a meeting. And within the 2 weeks, they'd already put in, they had implemented an addendum to their agreement saying, when your orders get to this level, please, you need to order so that we don't run out of production when you need something. The other one was able to reduce port storage costs by up to 70% by streamlining the payment process. And he did this by eliminating one approval process and also having a check pre-signed so that when it's needed, they can actually pay and move the goods out. The reduction in the time was from 6 hours to 1 hour. Excuse me. And then one other participant decided, okay, my biggest problem right now is managers are not talking to each other well. So he took the materials that we gave and trained her team, and managers started expressing their concerns in a more collaborative way, in an easier way. So it's really, really important that whatever you learn, however little, you put it into something for business, for your organization. So yeah, so that comes to the end of the webinar. I'll open it up for some questions. And if you want to connect with us, yes, you can drop an email or reach out, and I'll be happy to have a session with you. So I'll just stop here and see if you have any questions.
I don't have any questions, but thank you very much. That was very good, very eye-opening.
Oh, all right, good stuff. Have you do you have any background on lean or continuous improvement?
No, this is my first introduction to it. So yes, I'd like to, yeah, look into it a little more. We're not a very big company, but always looking to be more streamlined and effective.
That's what do you do, if I may ask?
Oh, we run a print and promotional products shop.
All right.
Yeah. So there's
All
about
right.
5 of us.
Oh, that's good. That's a team. So
Yes.
I always say
Team is
continuous
power.
improvement. Yes, you can do it when you're one person, but it helps when you're at least a team. Because that way, as the owner of the business, you're able to, this is my vision. This is what I would like. I would like us, when you come to work, we are continuously improving what we do. If it's are we printing, are we doing a lot of reruns? So that's something that we
Yes.
could look into, like how many times are we actually printing?
Yes.
And you're like, okay. And the only thing I would recommend is to really start small, which is perfect when you're a small team, is just take a little bit and say, okay, this is what I'd like to look into and experiment.
Yep.
And then what did we learn? So that the employees can be like, okay, what's happening here? So you're quickly bringing them into this concept of I'm improving, without telling them, hey guys, from today henceforth,
Yes.
I want to see continuous improvement.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. I like that.
Cool. Nice. Nick, are you still there?
Yeah, yes, I'm here.
All right.
Yeah, I'm cool. Yeah, no questions so far.
Okay.
Yeah, the
Can you
training
tell
was
us?
okay.
All right.
Yes, I really
Can you?
appreciate having us.
Oh, awesome. Can you tell us a little bit about what you do?
I'm in the security industry.
Okay.
Yeah, we provide guards to different clients. We also do other kinds of security, including CCTVs, access controls, and the like.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
So that's sometimes borders on emergency and a lot of there's a lot of routine tasks that needs to be done.
Very true, very true.
Yeah, so it's something to have a think and see what else, what can I do? To Do you have a team?
A big one.
Ooh, all right. Okay.
Yeah, but mostly it consists of the guards,
Mm-hmm.
the people that interact one-on-one with the clients.
Okay.
Yeah, but the office staff are just a few, around 5.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So that's good because for a business like yours where you have guys who are the ones on site, they're your face. So they're the ones who determine whether you're making clients happy.
Yeah.
And one of the things that people often assume with guides, just because they might be of low education, but continuous improvement is for everyone.
True.
So getting them to the key thing is to simplify it, no using of jargons, just shift in habits, because it's about how we change our habits, how our meetings are we discussing the same incidences every month or every week? What is the root cause of this problem we're having that's featuring on our incidents report every month? So trying to see how you can improve one thing that bothers you, is something that I would ask, yeah, that you can look into on how continuous improvement can help.
Sure.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you for joining. I'm excited the two of you were able to join today. So this is amazing. And I wish you both a good evening and a good day for Marianne.
Thank you.
And yeah, if you need anything, feel free to reach out. I'll send you the slides and also just some basic tools, like something that can help you address like quick changes.
Fantastic. Thank you.
All right.
you.
Thank you so much and goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
All right.